Good morning, good afternoon, or good night, and welcome to Command Power, the show in which we discuss all things Magic the Gathering with a focus on Commander. And today we have another episode in our Spoiler Spotlight series in which I talk about, well, spoilers and tell you what my thoughts are on them. But before that, just a quick reminder to click subscribe if you enjoy my videos. We're well on our way to 1 million subscribers and your support means everything to me. And today we're going to be talking about Charnel Serenade. For 4 colorless and 2 black, it's a sorcery that says Surveil 3, then return a creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield with a finality counter on it. Exile Charnel Serenade with 3 time counters on it. Then it has Suspend 3 for 2 colors and 1 black, which says rather than cast this card from your hand, you may pay 2 black and exile it with 3 time counters on it. At the beginning of your upkeep, remove a time counter. When the last is removed, you may cast it without paying its mana cost. So initially this might look quite bad, but let me persuade you that I think it's going to be a lot better than it looks. So let's start off by the fact that this is 6 mana. That's very expensive for a recursion spell. However, this isn't your regular reanimate spell. This is a reanimate spell that can fuel itself and fill up the graveyard first. So in that sense, it's a little bit similar to Incarnation Technique. There's also another interesting thing about this card that you might not have noticed, which is that it doesn't target. So once this starts resolving, there is no way to interact by removing the card from the graveyard that you want to reanimate. If this spell starts surveilling, then you're gonna get to reanimate whatever you want and no one can mess with you. It's also one in a growing series of cards that suspend themselves with 3 time counters and keep recasting over and over. Now there isn't much support for suspend in black, to be fair, but even without support, getting a reanimate every 3 turns that's going to fuel your graveyard is a very interesting proposition. So as I mentioned, it has a lot of similarities with Incarnation Technique, which is a very powerful effect. It also reminds me a bit of From the Catacombs in that you can keep using it over and over, although this one is delayed, whereas From the Catacombs can be immediate if you have enough mana and cards in your graveyard to exile to the escape cost. But I think the fact that you're going to be using this over and over and it's going to fuel your graveyard more and more each time means that this is a great source of inevitability in grindy metas or in grindy decks. Surveil 3 is actually really strong. In some ways it's even better than Incarnation Technique's Mill 5 because you're going to get to make an informed decision about whether you want to put those cards on top or on the bottom. So it provides a lot more value than just randomly milling 5. But where I think this gets really good is that you don't actually have to cast it for 6 the first time. You could just suspend it on turn 3. Because you have that Surveil tacked on, it's incredibly likely that you're going to hit something. Even if you don't naturally have cards in your graveyard, which you probably should naturally by turn 6 when this is coming off suspend, seeing as you're playing a reanimate card. But yeah, even if you don't have cards in your graveyard naturally at that point, the Surveil 3 is very likely to hit something, which means that you can feel free to suspend it on turn 3 and know that you're probably going to hit. And sometimes you're going to hit something amazing. If you hit a really big creature off of this early on, it can be game breaking. I've had games where I've just run away with the game because Incarnation Technique has randomly hit 2 7-drops on turn 5, and that just feels really strong. This can do similar things. Of course, turn 6 is not quite that early, but seeing as you only invested 3 mana on this, then it seems very good, particularly since you're going to get to do it again in a few turns. Anyway, I really love these cards that keep suspending themselves. It's just free value, and I'm all about the value, so I'm going to try this out in a few different decks. So there you have it. Those have been my thoughts on this new spoiler. What do you think about this card? Please let me know in the comment section below. I read all comments and respond to all of them too. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to click like or subscribe. It really helps the channel. And until next time, take care.